Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. We have some interesting things to talk about. I'll just read you this. State Department won't support effort to dodge deposition over server. Now, this is really interesting. I'm reading you the Washington Examiner. This is today. This is just a couple of hours ago, actually. So it's just a couple of hours ago. And the really interesting thing about this is, number one, Hillary Clinton's going to become nominee of the Democratic Party. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. The absolute biggest political call of all time. Number two, it really doesn't matter what happens from now until election regarding the email server ongoing fiasco. I'm talking about the current investigations pertaining to Durham, William Barr, all the people who set up Trump, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan. It almost doesn't matter what takes place from now until it does matter, but you're not going to see a resolution to any of this. You're not going to see a resolution to any of this until after. So until after the election, President Trump is going to win again. He's going to go 2 terms. The issue here is that without Judicial Watch and Tom Fitton, I view Tom Fitton to be one of the heroes in American politics. And you could probably rank him as one of the heroes in American political history, going up against very, very, very corrupt people. Very corrupt people and very, very, very influential and powerful people. So Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch has a case against Madam Secretary, a very famous one, where he wants to find out, well, how was a Secretary of State able? And by the way, if you want to support my voice via Super Chat, thank you so very much. I am humbled, and I know that during this crisis, there are a lot of different ways you can spend your money. If you want to support my voice, thank you very, very, very much. Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch, I'll just read you here. The State Department declined to join former Secretary of State Clinton's effort to convince an appeals court to let her dodge a judge-ordered sworn deposition about her use of a private email server. The court agrees with Judicial Watch. It is time to hear directly from Secretary Clinton, U.S. District Court Judge Royce Lamberth ruled in March, while also ordering former Clinton Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills to be deposed by Judicial Watch also. This is huge. I wrote a Daily Caller article on the fact that one of the campaign emails shows that Cheryl Mills knew about the server and servers, yet they gave Cheryl Mills and Clinton attorney-client privilege. So, and Mills is one of the people who helped delete emails. So this is absolutely huge. This is monumental, ladies and gentlemen. Monumental, but you got to also understand that this is not going to come to a resolution in terms of indictments until after the election. There needs to be enough political will. The entire country, ladies and gentlemen, the entire country will turn into H.A. Goodman and you right after November, because Clinton is going to lose again to President Trump. Now, she could become president if you do not vote. If you don't tell everyone you know to vote for President Trump, Hillary Clinton will become president. They're not going with Biden. The whole thing has been an absolute charade and theatrical performance. They cheated Bernie Sanders. All they do is cheat. And Bernie's a part of it too. But don't get me started about that. Here, Clinton legal team responded last month with an 83-page petition for a writ of mandamus filed with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit, calling the district court ruling outrageous and asking a higher court to order the lower court to correct what Clinton's lawyers saw as a deficient decision. But the State Department, represented in court by Justice Department lawyers, declined to join Clinton's legal argument on Friday. So that's what happens when you have Pompeo and Trump running the State Department. They're not going to help. They're not going to help Clinton, get away with this. So normally the State Department would have always, gone to bat for Madam Secretary. Normally they normally they would have helped. But here, the government did not seek and thus does not support the extraordinary relief due to the unique circumstances of this case. DOJ appeals lawyers Mark Freeman told a higher court in a 7-page filing, this is the rare situation in which discovery of a former cabinet secretary was not authorized for the impermissible purpose of probing internal government decision-making regarding official policy, but rather to focus on the impact of FOIA compliance of a former official's unusual decision to use a private email server to systemically conduct large volumes of official business. Don't you love, ladies and gentlemen, the utter disbelief that even at this stage that government has, well, it's unusual. We can't say with certainty that something perhaps, nefarious, took place. It was just highly unusual. It's highly unusual. We don't know why. We can only assume that the best of intentions were there because, to say that something untoward would have resulted from or inappropriate would categorize this course of action would be, frankly, irresponsible. We can't possibly comment on the thinking of one of our government employees, but rest assured, everything was just above board. Yeah, right. Freeman said the government's decision not to seek a mandamus here after each of the discovery orders, not only the most recent, but reflects the government's consideration of the totality of the circumstance in this unique case. So she's kind of, from here on out, she's relying on the United States government to say, well, there's no need to really find out. The case has been swept under the rug. And the State Department's like, we're not going to, we're not going to allow this, we're not going to allow this to continue. So, that's it. Mandamus. So, Clinton's lead attorney, David Kendall, claimed Judicial Watch could not possibly show extraordinary circumstances required to depose former high-ranking officials regarding their reasons for taking official actions. Well, number one, it wasn't an official action. It was an unofficial action. This was never sanctioned by anyone, and it had to be. And the court abused its discretion in finding otherwise, but Judicial Watch defended its efforts to the appeals court. The question is whether Clinton purposely routed the entire body of emails she sent and received during her 4-year tenure at State, not just one email, whether she did so to circumvent all FOIA requests concerning her emails. Judicial Watch attorney Ramona Kotka said in a 63-page filing on Friday, the reasons the district court gave for its decision to authorize Clinton's deposition, her state of mind when she decided to set up and use a private server, her awareness of record management obligations, and her awareness of steps taken to prevent records management and other forms on others from learning about her private server, among others, are directly related to answering these questions. Look, Clinton's going to run again, and a big part of it is to just make sure that this doesn't get any further. Gary Williams staying up for a little Bubba Clinton and Mitch making sure. Great stuff. Gary, I just want to thank you, Gary. You've been so kind, and just thank you for watching.
Nancy, I want to thank Gary Williams for taking the time out of his evening to watch us. Thank you, Gary. And if you see Rand Paul, tell him I'm nowhere to be found.
Gary Williams, thank you. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary. Greatly appreciated. Judicial Watch also said questioning Clinton about whether she used a private server to evade FOIA may help answer whether state's failure to disclose the Clinton email issue in 2014 or early 2015 harmed the district court's integrity or abused its process. Okay, the State Department did seem to push back on that Friday, saying assertions that the government acted in bad faith in litigating this FOIA request are wholly without basis. But then Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton said Monday, Clinton's desperate appeal to avoid testimony is even too much for her defenders, the State Department and the Justice Department. So even the Justice Department and State Department are like, yeah, we're not going to help out anymore. This is ridiculous. The whole point is, why did Madam Secretary do this? Why did anyone need to use a private server? See, Democrats are interesting. They're like, oh, it's just our emails. It's like, Gary. Oh, thank you, Gary. Jimbo! This is the first time under this administration the State Department attorneys have not supported HRC. Exactly, Jimbo. Gary, thank you. Exactly. Great observation. Tom Fitton is on record as saying even President Trump's administration. And I really, really am reluctant to say this, Jimbo and Gary and everybody here. The IG report, in terms of leading to an immediate outcome, is pretty much... The IG report is just a step. The IG reports. Michael Horowitz is definitely part of the system, of a system that is... he's not, let's put it this way, he's not going to... He will not go after individuals. Like, he'll document everything there is to document, but then he'll throw them, but I didn't see any malicious intent. And then they'll run with it. The thing is, the IG reports, look, John Durham at the end of this, William Barr at the end of this, President Trump at the end of all of this, will look and see if there's political will. If there's political will, you could, the hammer is going to be, the gauntlet, the hammer, like... It's definitely going down if there's political will. There will be political will when President Trump wins again. I'm telling you, though, that Hillary Clinton could become president if people don't vote. This is all a charade. There's no way that they're going with Biden. So, and this, all of this, even the deposition, Clinton and Cheryl Mills will say just enough to circumvent any repercussions until long after the election. Okay? So this is going to go on for at least a year after the election. And by then, everybody, you'll have the left wishing and praying and hoping for indictments. You'll have the left, you'll have a lot of Democrats even, because they will want autonomy. They'll want autonomy from me. So... they'll want to just say, enough is enough already. Gary, enough is enough, Gary Williams. I told my wife, I said, listen, why do you need a private server? You could just go ahead and do yoga without typing in all the positions. That's what I'm talking about. Gary, thank you. Jimbo, you're 100% right. Even, look... there's a certain point where even the United States government says, yeah, we're not going to help you out anymore. So, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, very interesting tweet from Andrew Cuomo. This is like, shows you how good Democrats are. There is no reason for undue anxiety. The general risk remains low in New York. This is on March 1st. This is on March 1st, ladies and gentlemen. At 4:51 p.m. The tweet is there. The tweet is there, everyone. He's right. It's right there, my God almighty. It's right there. It's pretty unbelievable. The general risk remains low. New York now leads the nation. And Cuomo said, we've learned of the first positive case. Patient is isolated. There's no reason for undue anxiety. The general risk remains low in New York. March 1st. Unbelievable. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. It's just, it boggles the mind how Democrats and media, it boggles the mind how they're able to just erase history. You're talking about something that's like, that authoritarians, the worst of the worst, would just love. You're talking about, it's just unbelievable. There's no reason for undue anxiety. The general risk remains low in New York. Unbelievable. There's no reason for undue anxiety. New York leads the nation in cases by 100,000. Wow. So, and that's not the only quote. That's not the only quote. There are other quotes also that I have that really, it's not, this isn't like rocket science. This isn't rocket science, but I mean, there are other quotes where you can look and, like, right here, where is this, in the actual email, in the actual, so let's see. There is no reason for undue anxiety. The general risk remains low in New York. This is a statement issued by, and I took screenshots because you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. And that was quoted in the National Review and other places also, not just the National Review. Vox quoted them, but here Cuomo reveals first. Okay, and you can look. They quote that tweet, and you find the statement: the risk remains relatively low all the time. You're always finding that statement when it comes to Cuomo. So you could just type in Cuomo risk remains low. New York, the general risk in the state remains low. ABC News. There's no reason for undue anxiety. The general risk in New York remains low. Okay. This is unbelievable. Governor, while New York's overall risk level remains low, these actions will provide our doctors. March 3rd, March 1st, the general risk remains low. That's governor.newyork.gov, .ny.gov, ABC News. This isn't our first rodeo, Cuomo said at a March 2nd press conference. He assured New Yorkers that the general risk in the state remains low. Axios, the general risk remains low in New York. March 2nd. So tell me again. This is in March. Tell me again. Free Assange. Aussie J. Good day, Jay. The trade war is even China. Wow. Hello. Thank you. So it's pretty unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You can look at this. You can look at this. Vox, the governor also stressed that the overall risk remains low. Wow. Wow. He assured New Yorkers that the overall risk remains low in March. In February, he was suing the federal government for because of travel restrictions. You have to be talking about the worst governor of all time. I mean, really, the worst governor of all time. And now it's like he's America's governor. Oh my goodness, America's governor. Oh my goodness. How does he get away with this? In January, President Trump declared an a health emergency. It took Cuomo till March. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It is really, really unbelievable. It's just really unbelievable. So I can't believe it. It's just it's just really it's just you're looking at them just completely erasing history and then expecting that you can't use the Google. You can use the Google. Use the Google. It's right there. The risk remains low. It's in all the official documents. Now, New York has the most cases by far. By far. And they're like, well, he acted, and his words. It's like, Cuomo, in March. In March, he was saying this. In March. Like, unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And so you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where it's not going to work out. Like, none of this is going to work out for Democrats. Because at the end of the day, the average person, you can media can manipulate public opinion only to a certain point, ladies and gentlemen. Only to a certain point. Like if there's like a national, just if there's a stunned nation, if there's a stunned, like if the country is surprised or shocked, if there's a collective sense that we've been wronged, then yes, like George W. Bush utilized that to then harm our country and then the entire planet with his failed foreign policy predicated on failed intelligence. But you can't, unless there's, God forbid, some kind of, historical crisis where we feel wronged as a country, or we feel like another country or another entity has done something, horrendous to us. I can't really get into it, obviously, on live stream or YouTube, but because YouTube policies, you say one thing, it's like a big problem. But you cannot, though. The media cannot, and we've seen this. If the media could alter people's opinions, then you wouldn't see a Trump presidency. We're calling Buffalo! Biden wants everyone to vote through their... What? Bucolic Buffalo, thank you. I'm the vice president, and I forgot this message. Jukebox. Nice. That's right. Victrola, thank you. Thank you, Bucolic Buffalo. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. It is really interesting. it's really interesting where we're at as a country. I'm actually proud of the American people. I'm very proud of the average American. The average American doesn't listen to this nonsense. The fact that we elected President Trump proves that the maniacal ranting and raving of just, people who don't like him didn't really amount to much. Big Chris laying here getting sauced, listening to music, found a new band, Avail. They're on YouTube. The songs Taken, Leveled, and New Song are pretty dope. Thank you, Big Chris. It's not often that I copy and paste, so I'm going to go ahead and check out those. Make sure that I have that there. And awesome. Thank you, Big Chris. Thank you. Check that out. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, I'm going to check out that band. Thank you, Big Chris, as always, and for the great referrals in music and bands. Thank you so much. Good music means a lot now, especially nowadays. Thank you, Big Chris. All right. I'm going to go back and look at that. Awesome. Big Chris, thank you. Thank you again. Bucolic Buffalo. Yeah, Biden there's no way that, I can go on my spiel as usual. You know me. I'll just spend the next 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours saying this. But here, we have Andrew Cuomo. The risk remains low. What more? What more do you need? And he was suing the president. He was suing the federal government because he wanted to ensure that New Yorkers could travel easier. So, it's like they're really losing on every front. When you look at what they've done, they set up and framed Trump. He never worked with Russia. They impeached Trump based on, so people know he never worked with Russia. They know this. We all know this. The country knows this. Even the people who pushed it know it, but they don't see. This is like a catharsis for them. Going after Trump is not. It's actually beyond political now. They're doing this as like a psychological ploy, not against us, for just to placate themselves. To kind of calm themselves. They need to fulfill this need to go after Trump, because the more they do, the less they need to look into the mirror. They cannot look into the mirror and see who they truly are, because they don't really stand for what they claim to stand for. Which actually, they don't care. I'm beginning to really think that they just want one thing: political power. That's it. They don't care how they look. They don't care about any value system. They'll say anything and do anything. They will literally almost anything. They will say and do anything. They will spin any story. They'll take anything out of context. They'll try to ruin any lives. They'll try to mitigate anything on their side that proves them wrong, and amplify and distort anything on regarding President Trump. Because the thing is, they're calling him a monster. Just today, actually, check out my segment prior to this one. One Democrat wanted to take him to The Hague in the Netherlands. The War Crimes Tribunal, or the War Crimes Court. They want to take him because they think that he committed crimes against humanity. They think he committed crimes against humanity, people. They've completely lost it. It's pretty unbelievable. It is pretty unbelievable. Okay? And that's not hyperbole. Like, go look it up. They actually want to take Trump to The Hague. Why? Because in their minds, he's committing war crimes left and right. It's the interesting thing is, like I said, the average American doesn't really. The average American doesn't see Trump the way they see Trump. They have a very, very, very dedicated base of people. Really intelligent, nice, good people. These are people that are just like wonderful people, generally. They're family members, they're friends, they're wonderful people. But they turn into the creature from Lord of the Rings with that ring. When you mention Trump, it's like they go into a trance and they start making things up. He said this, he meant this, he needed to do this, he meant this, he meant this, he said this, he did this. And they're just, nothing you could say, yeah, he did. Well, you know what? He never worked with Russia. There's so much there. There was nobody indicted for working with Russia. And in fact, the articles of impeachment never even mentioned Russia. There's so much there. You have no idea. You're blind. Then it'll go from, let's repeat, loud citizen. No. Loud citizen, heaven forbid. I actually love Hillary Clinton. And I want Hillary Clinton to run every 4 years. It'll just vindicate my voice like you cannot believe. My second favorite politician in America is Hillary Clinton. So, you will never find a person on YouTube who loves Hillary Clinton more than me. Kind of like the way I love Darth Vader. And, let's see. Lex Luthor, Darth Vader, who else? Cobra Commander, Destro. Let's see who else. Kind of like the way you would love, I'm trying to think of famous villains that people like. Decepticons. What can I tell you? So, who doesn't like Darth Vader? So I love Hillary Clinton. I love Darth Vader. And like I told you, this is for my 33-minute crowd. Well, it's a live stream, but this is for my late night audience. I have now the DVDs. I have a whole bunch of the same DVDs. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. I really don't care about any other one. So maybe I'm being unfair. I just don't care about any other. Maybe a couple of them are okay, but I don't care about any other. Oh, Skeletor is a good one. Yeah. It's like you like Skeletor. So I'm honest. I like honesty and treachery. Jimbo! Trump should open economy ASAP. Exactly. Guarantee. Guarantee medical coverage to tourists and make the U.S. instantly. You know what? That's actually a smart idea. Instantly #1 holiday destination. That's true. That is true. Jimbo, that is actually... I thought you were joking at first, but that is actually a brilliant idea. Only thing, though, is that some people might try to game the system and like come here with with the ailment. But no, you're right. I mean, give people incentive. Jimbo, you're 100% right. Great call. Give people incentive to come to the United States. Give people incentive to travel here. Give people incentive. Wugog Buffalo! HRC is Rodak from Space Giants. Loud Citizens HRC Lex Luthor in 2024. Wow. Bucolic Buffalo. Hold on, let me see this. Rodak Space Giants. Nice. We're going old school. Bucolic Buffalo, yes. Wow, that, you know what? Can I tell you something? The Space Giants, yes. Can I tell you, even with the lack of graphics, this is like scary. I'm looking at this like scarier than, state of the art graphics. It's still like, this is scarier to me. If you watch The Exorcist, that's scarier than any horror movie. There's some that are pretty bad, but The Exorcist is the worst by far. Old school is the worst. Bucolic Buffalo, you're awesome. Thank you. Big Chris. Why would a billionaire need the help of a state actor to hack into an organization who protects their servers with the password involved? Yeah. Exactly. And also, why would any state, like, how? The whole point is there's no classified data. So they would hack the DNC just specifically because they're worried about Bernie Sanders defeating Clinton, or no, they don't want Clinton to win because they're so afraid. They're so afraid of Democrats. Big Chris. That's the issue. They were so afraid of Democrats that, Russia was so afraid of Democrats. Oh. It's like, that's nonsense. It's like complete nonsense. The Shining was good too. Yes. Michael, hello. Hope all is well. The Shining, The Exorcist, Poltergeist. Yeah, I don't want to watch those movies. You know what? The Exorcist is the scariest to me. Poltergeist, The Exorcist, Poltergeist, and then The Shining. Although The Shining is pretty weird. Yeah. Then you look, if you watch those, you see Nightmare on Elm Street, you're like laughing. Or Friday the 13th. But even those are like, those aren't, those are frightening. Not really, but compared to The Exorcist, they're like nothing. But so this is Andrew Cuomo. March 1st, 2020. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. March 1st, 2020. It's really, It's really this is interesting. So in parts of LA you could face a fine. Parts of Texas and LA you could face people without face coverings in public could face fines in Riverside County. That's so bizarre. Up to $1,000 per violation per day. Oh my God. It makes no sense. Okay. This oh my God. So if you can't find a mask, then it's like, game over. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Loud citizen. In 2008, H.A. Gross. General
Zod.
God?
No, Zod. Kneel before Zod.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Like if you're to say the phrase
Kneel before Zod.
like how, if you're in a room, how like what percentage of that room knows what the heck you're talking about? Because how many young people today have seen the original Superman? So, you know, how many young people have seen Superman? It's like, it's interesting too, the effect Jaws had. Like, how many people have the same fear of the ocean or fear of sharks? How many young people have the same fear of sharks that people who watched Jaws have? Or awareness of sharks, or, you know, negative feelings towards sharks.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this election is going to be the most important election of our lifetime, ladies and gentlemen. People say that. It's Loud Citizen, kneel before Zod. You know, it's going to be interesting. We're going to be victorious. The president will be vindicated. You'll be vindicated. We'll all be vindicated. I will. I will have made the biggest political call of all time when Hillary Clinton becomes nominee, which is one of the reasons I love Clinton. I'm the biggest Hillary Clinton supporter on YouTube. I have nothing but love and admiration. So if anyone tries to talk, just let them know. I am voting for President Trump, though. President Trump is going to win re-election. Thank God. Thank God. Or Clinton will become the first female president because because people don't vote. You have to vote, ladies and gentlemen. You have to tell your friends to vote for President Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. God bless you. You have a fantastic evening. You have a great evening, everyone. You're all awesome. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And H.A. Goodman's other channel's doing good. Just plugging along. I'm doing a segment a day. I will have a segment right after this one on there. But once things heat up politically, it'll be like 3 or 4 segments a day on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Thank you, everyone. God bless. To my super chat, thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow. I might try to do some more live streams tomorrow. But check out the upload earlier. It'll be in the morning. So check out the uploads in the morning. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. See you soon.